Compared to static websites, dynamic websites are highly engaging and come with features like searching a movie database, for example. Now, in the past, you had to be a developer to create such websites. But now, with Spectre Pro, even my grandma could do it. And cherry on the cake, Spectre Pro now comes with advanced loop builder features like advanced filters, smooth Ajax-based pagination, and simple customization options. So in this video, I will show you how to use these new advanced features step by step. I approve this message. Hello, I'm Kay from the Spectre team, and after building countless dynamic websites, I noticed that some plugins just add unnecessary layers on top of the WordPress core, which can lead to slow and bloated websites. So when possible, using Gutenberg-based solutions, or in other words, solutions that work with the default WordPress editor, is often better for your website speed. You know, it baffles me that to this day, people still believe that the WordPress core editor is underpowered. It's just like a few years ago, people would say when you told them you're building a website with WordPress, they would look at you and be like, huh, WordPress, right? It's a blog engine, lol. Yeah, that didn't age well. Well, let me tell you this. WordPress blogs have changed, and I'm gonna show it to you. But first of all, what is even a dynamic website? Well, according to Google and AI, a dynamic website is a website that generates content based on user interactions, preferences, and other variables. Dynamic websites are flexible and can provide personalized experiences for each user. In other words, it's using code and a database for its magic. So let me show you the features that we will be implementing today. So this is the IMDb website, which suspiciously looks like the IMDb website, right? So let me click on search. And this is it. So we have all our movies, they're paginated, and I can sort the movies by publishing date. I can search for a specific movie, Forrest Gump, for example. I can reset all the filters, and I can also filter the movies via categories. In this case, I've created a PG rating taxonomy or category. So for example, if I select the G PG rating, this is the only entry in our database. Finding Nemo. So as you've probably guessed, this is a custom post type called movie that I created. But the advanced loop builder features also work with your blog. So let me click on blog, and we have exactly the same features. You can select, this time I just put the newest and oldest options. You can search for a specific word, and here is our post. And once again, you can reset filters, and you can filter by categories. Let's click on series, and there you go. Simple but so powerful if you have a dynamic website or plan on building one. To keep this video short though, we won't be starting from scratch. But no panic, because if you want to build the exact same website, I will put a link to this tutorial in the description below. Now, Spectre Pro comes with a lot more features than just the loop builder and its advanced capabilities. But for this video, that's what we will focus on. So if you don't have Spectre Pro yet, you'll find a handy link in the description below. Okay, so this is the foundation we will be starting from. And as explained, you find the link to build this exact website in the description below. And first, we're gonna start with our custom post type, movies. So first of all, in WordPress, you wanna go to Pages, Add New Page. Let's close this. And let's call this page Search. Then click on Publish and publish one more time. Now let's go back by clicking on the WordPress icon. Then go to Appearance, Menus. Make sure you select the primary menu and click on Select. And right here you see our most recent pages. We see the search page. So I'm going to select it and click Add to Menu. And I'm just gonna drag and drop it and place it between movies and blog. And click on Save Menu. So now if I go back to the front end and refresh, there you go. We see our search page, which for the moment is completely empty. If I click on it, this is what we get. Now back in WordPress, we want to go to ACF, and ACF is the plugin we use to create our custom post type movies. So in case you're not familiar, the pages you get in WordPress are actually a post type. The posts are post type. And here we created a movie because it's a movie database dynamic website. So in the part 1 of this tutorial that I referenced earlier, we created these custom post type movies. So let's go to ACF, Taxonomies, and click on Add Taxonomy. So let's call it PG ratings for the plural, PG rating for the singular, PG-rating for the taxonomy key, but that was set automatically based on what we wrote just above. And now we need to connect it to a post type. So I'm going to click here and we want to connect it to the movie post type. Now let's look here at the bottom, nothing to change. So let me scroll back up and hit Save Changes. Next, let's go to Movies, PG ratings. And now we're going to insert our PG ratings. So G, slug G, add new PC rating, PG-13, then lowercase PG-13, add new PG rating, PG, R, and let's add Z or Z depending on where you grew up. Now that does not exist as a PG rating, but you'll understand later in this video why I added this one. Next, go to Movies, All Movies. So now what we need to do is to open each entry and just add the correct PG rating. So for example here, Finding Nemo, I click on Edit. And right here, I click on the PG ratings tab, click in the field, and I'm going to type G, then enter, and there you go. So let me hit save. Now let me go back and same thing for the next one and so on. And there you go. I've done it for all of our movie entries, so we can now start editing the search page we previously created. So for that, let's go to Pages, All Pages, hover over Search, click on Edit. So first of all, I'm going to open the document overview, click on the plus sign, and I'm just going to scroll to Spectra Pro, and you see here the loop builder. So I'm just going to drag it right here. So there are several variations. You can play with it and see what you prefer, but for this video, I'm going to select variation 5. And then right here, you see within our loop builder, we have the wrapper. And once again, we're being asked to choose a variation. And for this video, we'll select the box layout. So it looks very clean, very nice. And from the get-go, I'm going to change the number of columns to 2. There you go. Now here, I'm going to select this item here, and I'm just going to click on the 3 dots and delete. And same thing for the date. Click on the date, 3 dots and delete. So I only have the title left. Now let me select the whole block here, then go to Layout. And where you see Justify Content, we're going to go from this one, Flex Start, to Flex End. Next, let's go back to our document overview. And we're going to select our loop builder. So let me click here on loop builder and let me show you some of the options. So first of all, you can change the number of posts per page. I'm going to keep it simple and leave it at 4. But as you can see, because we have more than 4 entries in our movie database, we get this pagination here automatically. It's pretty handy, right? Okay, next we have post offset. So let's say, for example, I don't want to show the last post here on this page. Well, I could offset the database by 1, and there you go, that post disappeared. So you get the idea. Let me put it back the way it was. Next, you can change the order, descending or ascending, but we don't need to do that because we will add filters, as you will see. But the option is here, and you can also order by date. Next, if no post is found, you can create the message you want to be displayed. By default, it says no post found, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And that's it for the Layouts tab. Next, click on the Content subtab, and here's where we choose the post type. So in our case, we don't want the blog post, we want the movies. And that's what I explained. This is a custom post type. So we want the movies. Next, you can decide to include the sticky post in the loop, but we're not going to do that. And here, as you can see, you have taxonomy, posts, and authors. And you can decide whether you want to include or exclude specific elements. For example, here, I could say, oh, I want to exclude the Z rating because it does not exist, for example. Or I could decide to exclude one post or one author. You get the idea. Okay, next, let's select our first element here. So sort, and as you can see, it's a select filter. And as I clicked on it, you can see all the options here. Now for this specific case, I'm going to remove a few. So I'm just going to leave it sort by title. So I'm going to delete the other ones. Let me remove all that. Next, I can decide whether I want to line left, center, or right. You can't really see the difference here because it's already confined in that space. But let's say we had a white container, then you would see it go from left to right by clicking on these options. Next, you can also change the width. So right now it's 320, but you could say I want a percentage and I want 50% of the width, for example. So this way you can really ensure your website is responsive. But let me put it back to 100. And next, let's click on the Style tab. Let's make the sort text yellow. Now for the field, click here. Let's select white and let's drag the opacity slider almost all the way to the left, very slightly here. Next, click on the border sub-tab, and where you see style, you want to click on the drop-down, select solid. For the width, you want to give 1 all round. And for the color, you want to select this yellow color or whatever color you're using on your website. But if you're following along, just pick that color. Next, you have the spacing here. So for example, let's say you want to make this field taller or wider. Well, you can do it here. So as you can see, it's wider now. So let's hit save. And now if you go back to the front end, let's refresh. And as you can see, it's starting to take shape. So I can already select by title. Let's go from A to Z. So as you can see, the content changed. And if I click on reset filters, as you can see, it's back to Finding Nemo as our latest entry. Next, back to editing our page, let's click on the search field. And as you can see, we have some similar options like the alignment. And here we have a placeholder. So for example, instead of search, I want to put search the IMDb, which has nothing to do with IMDb. Please. And next, I'm going to click on the style tab. And for the placeholder color, I'm going to choose my main color. Same thing for the search text. Now for the fill, once again, I'm going to select white and drag the opacity slider almost all the way to the left. And next, I'm going to click on the border sub-tab. Style is solid. The width is 1 all around. And the color, once again, is our main color. Now let me save. Let's go back to the front end and refresh. And now if I search, for example, matrix, there you go. Next, back in WordPress, I'm going to change blog categories by PG rating. And next, I'm going to select my blog here. And here you see the options. So first, as you can see, we can change the type. So right now it's a checkbox, but we could change it to a select dropdown or to buttons. But let me put it back to checkbox. Next, if you want to show post count, just activate this option. And I'm also going to show empty taxonomy. Next, if you have categories with hierarchy like children, so just like the regular WordPress blog categories, you can add a category and then you can create a subcategory and so on. If you do that, you can activate show children. But in our case, it's a simple one-level taxonomy. And next, where you see taxonomies, and that's very important, you need to choose the appropriate taxonomy. In our case, it's PG ratings, which we created earlier on in this video. And next, we can choose to include or exclude specific elements of that taxonomy. So for example, here, this is the PG ratings. So I could exclude like the Z, for example, because it does not exist. But I need to show you how an empty category is displayed because of this option right here. So right now, I'm not going to exclude anything. All right, next, let's click on the Reset Filters button. And as you can see, we have some presets. So this matches more the style of our website. So I'm going to pick this one and click on it. Great. But as you can see, our icon disappeared. So I'm just going to click on the Content sub-tab and click on Enable Icon. And there you go, it's back. Now let me click on Style, Typography, and let me give it a size of 16 pixels. All right, much better. Next, I'm going to select my buttons here. So here in the document overview, make sure you have the buttons container selected. Because if I expand, as you can see, we have the individual buttons, but you don't want that. You want to select the enclosing buttons container. And next you want to go to Style, Typography, and once again, make sure you select pixels and type 16 for consistency. All right, now let's save. And if you go back to the front end, let's refresh. And as you can see, now we see all of our categories. So for example, if I click on G, we only have Finding Nemo. Then I can reset my filters. I can look at the PG-13. And as you can see, here it is. Let me reset the filters. And as you can see, the Z PG rating is empty. But because I selected this option in the backend to show even empty categories, or in this case, PG ratings, that's why it's appearing here. And if I select, but nothing's gonna happen. No results found. Now, I can reset the filters and we're back to normal. Now let me scroll back up and let's go to our blog. So this is our current blog. Looks very nice, but what if we want to add those features? Well, we can do pretty much the same. So back in WordPress, you want to open the document overview. I'm just going to collapse the whole loop builder, then click on the three dots and hit copy. Next, I'm going to click on the WordPress icon to go back. And first, let's go to posts. Next, I'm going to go to categories and add the movies category, and then the series category. Next, let me go back to all posts. And here I'm going to select the first, third, fifth, seventh, and ninth entries in the list. Then where you see bulk actions, I'm going to select edit and click on apply. Next, I'm going to unselect and categorize and select movies, then click on update. So now as you can see, all these elements that we selected have the movies category assigned to them. So now let's do something similar for the entries that were not selected. So second, fourth, sixth, and eighth, bulk actions edit, apply, unselect and categorize. And as you may have guessed, we're going to select series and hit update. All right. Next, let's go back to pages, all pages, then hover over blog and click on edit. Next, I'm going to open the document overview once again, then click on the three dots, add after, and then I'm just going to paste what we just copied. So I'm going to use Command V on the Mac or Control V on a PC. Awesome. So now I'm going to select the first container here, click on the three dots and hit delete. Now, one way we could do it here is to just go through all of the settings and just match the settings for the blog post type. Well, we're going to do it a bit differently. So what I'm going to do is click on the plus sign. Once again, scroll down to Spectre Pro and click on Loop Builder. Then once again, choose Variation 5 and here for our wrapper, boxed layout. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because from the get-go, it's already set for blog posts. So all we need to do is change the aesthetics. Now let me go back to the document overview. I'm just going to collapse both loop builders and I'm just going to rename the first one. So I'm going to click on the three dots, rename, and I'm just going to call it delete. Then hit save. All right, so let me scroll back up. And first of all, I'm going to select the whole loop builder, then click on the style copy paste icon, hit copy style, then select the second loop builder, click on the same icon and this time paste style. Now let me go back up. Let me select here the sorting filter, copy the style, and as you may have guessed, let's paste the style here. So let me repeat the operation for the other element, copy, and you know the drill now, paste style. I don't know about you, but I love this style copy paste icon. Now let me scroll back up. Let me select the categories here, copy the style and paste it, even though I don't think we styled anything for this. Actually, we might want to change it. So with this block selected, let me go to style. And for category text, let's make it our main theme color. Looks better. All right, next, let me click on the button here. You know the drill. And paste. Now, let me scroll back up. And I'm going to select one box here. And actually, what I want to select is the wrapper. So I'm going to select it here in the document overview. And I'm going to change the number of columns to 2. And next, let me scroll back up. Let me select the buttons here. Let's copy the style and let's paste it here. Now let's hit save. And now if you go back to the front end and refresh, there you go. But as you can see, we still left our movie loop builder here. So let's fix this. Let's go back and where you see delete, and that's why it's handy, I'm just going to click on the three dots and delete it. Save. Now let's go back to the front end, refresh. And there you go. Now, as you can see, the width here of the fields are not the same. So let's fix that. Let me scroll. So if I select the first one, I can see that the width is 100%. And if I select the second one, I can see that it's set in pixels. So let's put it to 100 percent. Let's save. Let's go back to the front end and refresh. All right, looking much better. So now let's check the functionalities. So here we have the select. And as you can see, there's way too many options. So once again, let's go back, select our select filter, and we just want to order by newest or oldest. So I'm going to delete all the other ones and hit save. Back to the front end, let's refresh. And as you can see, it's much cleaner. So now we can sort by oldest or by newest. All right, next let's click on search. Let me type ipse. I know it's one of the words in one of the blog posts. And as you can see, it works right away. And one thing you may have noticed is that all of this is seamless, it's Ajax based, which means it's not going to refresh the page. It just happens. So if I just remove this, as you can see, the page did not refresh. So same thing if I want to go to the next page. So let me reset all the filters and click on 2. Once again, it's going to that page, but without refreshing the page. It's just seamless. It just happens without refresh. Looks like a little detail, but trust me, for user experience, it's awesome. Now let's test our categories. So let's select series. And as you can see, once again, everything is reflected instantly. So now whether you're on the blog page or you go to the search page, basically we get the same features. Let me select PG, instant. So all of these new advanced loop builder features are really quality of life features, and it's for your users because the user experience is going to be so much better. And if the experience is good, your website visitors are probably going to stay on your website, which is probably what you want. Now, a last tiny little detail, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, the changes we made on the search page, we should do it also here on this page. You can see the field width is not the same, it's not consistent, as well as the colors for the PG rating. Let's fix that super quickly. So let me go back, then go to search edit. And here I'm going to select this field, change it to %, 100%. Let me select my categories filter here, go to style, and category text should be set to our main theme color. Hit save, go back, refresh, and there you go. So you should now be pretty confident building dynamic websites with Spectra Pro, especially if you also followed part 1 of this tutorial. But if you want to go all in with WordPress and learn how to build WordPress websites like a pro, we've released a completely free course right here on YouTube. And of course, you'll find a link in the description below. You're welcome. And